Hey, welcome back. I want to talk spoilers this time around. Uh, the movie has many feeling moments, and like I say, everyone gets a little moment to shine, some more than others, but the the thing I didn't want to get into with trolling, but I will now. The trolling, it's definitely it's got to be Thor trolling everyone as a viewer because Thor is this like Adonis, better than Statue of David kind of physique, and it would bring a lot of women to the theaters. And his story arc brings him to a very unflattering realm and takes that away. And I find that very funny. But at the exact same time, I thought, could that be a little trolling? Uh, all the all the girlfriends and wives that would come to watch the movie, and now see Hemsworth in a fat suit, broken from Lost. Yeah, I say spoilers. Uh, it's I find it funny. I find it an interesting direction to take the character. If you've watched those Thor promos they did before Ragnarok, where he had Daryl, that roommate that he lived with. If you haven't, go check it out. They're funny. They even got one with Grandmaster doing the same thing. But well, it's on the vein of that, on how Thor would be after not being what he's been for 1,500 years, which is that unstoppable hero that always saves the day. He didn't stop he should have took the arm off instead of embedding it in the chest. He should have took the head off instead of embedding him in the chest from Infinity War when he threw that axe. And if people understand why that axe went through all that energy, it's that Uru, which is what that axe is made out of. It's a cosmic alloy that absorbs energy, just eats it up. So trying to stop that axe with energy was pointless, completely pointless. That's why it hit him in the chest anyway. But back to Endgame. Endgame plays a clever hand at time travel without really trying to. How do you explain? Time travel is always tricky, especially in movies. They always mess it up. They always do. So this one doesn't try, just saying we're doing it. And we got one chance at this. So I like what they did. Borrow and replace and put back. It's not cheating. It's just showing the will to do anything, whatever it takes. Now, even post this movie, it'll make some movies coming out interesting. Since this is a spoiler video, there is supposed to be a Black Widow movie coming out now. If that's been just a bunch of hoopla, well, okay, interesting. So they're not even doing it. But I think they are, and it's got to be a prequel. More like an origin story, which would make probably the end scene, her getting approached by Nick Fury, which would be a massive throwback to the first wave of movies. That'd be a good love letter to the character if you were to do that for a movie. Entertain with some action, break her out of. Then you can have Hawkeye in there, and he's one of the people that gets her to convert over from her Russian agency that she's working for. I think it's the Soviet regime at the time during the Cold War. Yeah, be interesting. But this movie, though, Endgame, it keeps Thanos spooky still on how much self belief he has and how far he's willing to go. That's what I like. He's like the 50-foot shark in the ocean. You don't want to cross the path. You really don't. The lengths in which you'll have to go through to survive them. That's what this movie's about. I'm going to give you my favorite moment. It's when Scarlet Witch makes herself be known in one of the big battles. That was a good moment. I really enjoyed that moment. And I'm going to say this: when all these heroes stand on the midst of the battlefield to like re-engage Thanos, and it's the Wasp, it's Captain Marvel, it's Mantis, it's Black Widow. Yeah, it's all the women. And I think they're showcasing this all-women's movie that a lot of these women would like to do a movie together as a team. And I say do it. Because Valkyrie was in there. Everyone was in there. It was nuts. I'd like to see it. That'd be really cool. Seeing Pepper and the rescue armor was cool. She was in there. Yeah, there's a lot of potential there. If they all want to do it, let them do it. I think that would put people in the seats. I don't think that would be a waste, as long as it's not a bad written story. Don't want to waste all that talent, money, and time. I wanted Cap to do what he did. You know, these would be part of the things that, you know, when discussing with friends, something I would bring up and others would bring up, and we would agree it would be a good way to send Cap off. Yeah, having him just not go down the way that he did, and just stay there in time, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Just one hell of a way for Tony to go. Whatever it takes. I kind of wanted Hawkeye and Black Widow to do that whole talk on who was going to go, and they both just pushed the Red Skull over. Them being the cold-hearted bastards that they are, that are like, oh, it's just a life for a life? Aren't you a mass murderer? Off you go. Bye-bye. Thank you for the stone. How'd you figure it out? Oh, he rambled on long enough to tell us that it's a life for a life. And neither of us wanted to go. That would have been funny. And then he would have, answered the question with, well, what happens with the Red Skull? And their way, not my way, the Red Skull's still on that planet. Forever the caretaker of that stone, I guess, of the resting grounds. They should have pushed the Red Skull off. They should have. They really should have. What else? I think that the movies coming after, I think there's Guardians 3, Spider-Man Homecoming, that are still coming. I know Homecoming's next. It'll be this summer. And for this movie, having everyone that they did bring back into the fold for this final battle that they did, it'll make the movies coming after interesting on where they fall. Like, I think Spider-Man is the last of Phase 4, if you call them in those phases, and then all the other movies. Apparently, there's going to be 4 Thor Part 4, Captain Marvel 2, and Doctor Strange 2, and Guardians 3, and Black Panther 2. And those other movies, other than Spider-Man, I guess will be in Phase 5 or Phase 1 if you're looking at it as a reboot. But it was a really enjoyable movie, but you really had to care. You really did. Or else it would have been just a lot of gushing and self-indulgence. This is what I mean by it might not be enjoyable for people that don't really give a crap about the movies. And the post-credit, it's the pounding of metal that Tony was doing in Part 1 when he was in the cave. That's what makes me think reboot, but that also could just be one more tip of the hat. Get you in the feels one more time that the guy that was not thought to be the hero, the one to lay down on the wire, was, but he had to earn it. He had to grow into it. Like when Tony was responding to Cap and he says, "We are not soldiers." It was him saying, like, no, I'm not like you. You're right. I'm not like you. Don't talk to me like I've enlisted. I have not enlisted. I don't have the strength that's given by that training, by that experience. There's strength that's gained with that heavy service. It really is. So yeah, that's that. I guess you can say Infinity War was Thanos' movie, and you can say Endgame was Tony's. Tony's and friends. That's what you can say about this one. Will I watch it again? Yes, I'll watch it again. To get everything else that I missed. And apparently that kid at the funeral at the very end, or, when I was watching, who the hell is he? Apparently that's the kid from Iron Man 3. Sure. Oh, yeah. Why not just hire that kid again? If it is, I didn't recognize that kid. I think this is why I don't want to watch it again. But failed opportunities, I'll probably be able to identify those more with a second viewing. But already off the top of my head, non-explained new people. No, oh, this is so, don't do any extra. Just pull people in that you're like, really, and then have people that know characters be the ones in the theater like, holy crap, and then people that don't know comic books be like, what's the big deal with Buddy Boy there? Oh, that's so and so. They must be getting into a movie down the road. And there you go. You're plugging new projects. But that'd be one thing I'd say is a missed opportunity. I liked what they did with the fact that, all right, yeah, sure, you got all the stones, and you're gonna do what you're gonna do, and now I'm bringing the fight to you. You thought it was bad before. All right, you know, like what happened, so you chose a new path. All right. How does it feel? And when Thanos arrives and he starts laying waste and dropping his army, it's kind of like that out of the frying pan into the fire kind of situation. And I liked it. I had something else in mind when I was, chewing the fat about the possibilities of what Endgame would be with some friends. And I thought, going to the quantum realm, come out, and fight Thanos at a different point in time and have a single survivor and go back and reset. Like, that failed. You get to watch it. Thanos just moves through the whole crowd of them, leaving dead bodies in his wake. And, when they reset, you're like, all right, we need more people now. And we're going to go and be a little more crafty in our approach the second time around and win. I thought that would have been interesting because you can have that kind of the edge of tomorrow moment where someone's like, whoa, oh, let's not do that again. That kind of a deal. But with what they did, I think it was also good because it was like a pirate victory. Or not a pirate victory. There's this Roman general, his name started with a P. I can't remember his name now, but it's actually named after him, that expression. And as well, it's he was quoted saying, one more victory like that and we're finished. He beat his opponent, but he lost so much that another battle with that same amount of loss again would be routed. That's kind of when this movie was like, sure, you fended off the monster, the nightmare, but at what cost? Well, that cost. That was the cost. All the people that didn't make it. But all in all, no, highly enjoyable. Can't wait to see what else with what they do. Having Thor being a part of the Guardians is brilliant, just brilliant. What else? It would be nice to see what they do with the Winter Soldier and Captain America, Captain Falcon, however you want to call it. Yeah, him flying around with a shield and a machine gun, throwing the shield, having that magnetic tracking thing to bring it back again, hiding behind it, using his weapons, flying around. It's a scary cap. He may not be a super soldier, but that in itself is pretty dangerous. It gives him like aerial perception on the battlefield, which will really allow more audibles to be called in response to what's going on, reforming, shifting their attack style, blah blah blah. Yeah, I'd like to see what those two do. And apparently, there's going to be a TV show, WandaVision, with Wanda and the Vision, and apparently it's going to be a 1950s vibe, which is going to go off the comic books when they get married and basically live in a kind of Pleasantville. What do they call that? Libertyville and all that back in the East Coast when they're just giving neighborhoods away with not assigned, but those housing projects in the 50s post World War II. But anyway, everyone gets a white picket fence and all that. And that's kind of the vibe they're going to go with this one, is that Vision's trying to live in everyday society, and there's going to be an issue there. Probably anti-AI, fear of artificial people, which will be like another play on civil rights, mixed marriage, and probably go on the storyline of her becoming unstable with reality the more she uses her powers. Those are the guesses. I think that they'd go in that TV show direction. I have no idea what they're going to do with the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and apparently Loki's going to get his own TV show. And yeah, a lot is coming. So it'll be interesting what all this will be. So Guardians 3 is going to be interesting, having Thor added to it. Maybe by then it won't be teenage Groot. It'll be full form Groot by that point. Dave Bautista is probably going to be back in Guardians. He jumped off of Suicide Squad when James Gunn was head of Suicide Squad, but then he jumped off and he's probably back playing Drax again. And everyone's happy that he's back at Guardians, so should be a complete, volume 3. It won't be too far off beat, so that'll be good. It'll be the same creative teams as the first two, so that's good. Have a younger Gamora. That's interesting. Yeah. Definitely enjoy it. Sorry for rambling. I'll have more videos up at some point. Thanks for dropping by. Adios.